Nigeria is the fastest growing country in Africa, in large part because of oil. The current administration is trying to assign more oil contracts to Nigerian companies instead of foreign entities. James Blue, Director of Special Projects at Arise News, sat down with the Minister of Petroleum, Diezani Alison Mdueke.
As you plan for 2014, what is the primary prospect for the oil sector in Nigeria in the coming year?
I would think most definitely our gas exploration and production prospects. We intend to explode Nigeria into becoming a major gas exploring and producing country. As you know, in the past, we have got our gas mainly from associated gas, associated with oil production. But inherent in the petroleum industry bill, we have the gas master plan, many aspects of which we have already started pulling forward. So for instance, we are intending now to start commercializing our gas, moving it from its traditional uses as fuel to use as feedstock. So we're bringing in petrochemical plants, fertilizer plants, we're bringing in methanol plants, LPG facilities, central processing facilities, all in a bid to ensure that we pull it into the real sector. We begin to create jobs and employment for our people and actually humanize the oil and gas sector in a way that has never been done before. As you know, it's a highly capital intensive sector. So very few people in terms of relative numbers actually come into the sector. But we're doing a really big push to ensure that we utilize our gas in creating commerciality in this sector. But in the same way, the Nigerian Content Act, which came into law in 2010, signed in by President Goodluck Jonathan, has also ensured over the last 3 years that so many Nigerians who hitherto had nothing to do with the oil and gas sector have come into the downstream service part of the sector. Fabrication plants, exactly, bringing in rigs, and getting plants set up to actually fabricate the smaller parts for the oil and gas sector, which all along had been brought in by foreign contractors. This has been a major boost for our sector in terms of indigenous participation. And I think that in 2014, we expect to see a much greater explosion in terms of indigenous participation, not only in the downstream, but also in the upstream. As indigenous Nigerian operators begin to come into the divested oil blocks that the majors are putting onto the market, transferring capabilities, transferring know-how, transferring skills, and allowing Nigerian indigenous operators to up the ante in terms of the upstream.
Do you worry about the level of production with indigenization, and how do you control for that?
I think there is always a concern, but you must realize that in every new venture, there has to be a particular learning curve. What we expect is that the learning curve will be minimized as much as possible, and that the lessons learned from the majors would be passed on, to the indigenous owners and operators of these divested blocks. So we don't expect that the downtime will be for too long a period. We do expect that in a period of the next 2, 3, 4 years, they would be up to speed, and actual optimal production from those fields would have fully commenced.
Tomorrow is New Year's Eve, everyone. Join us in the morning at 14:15 GMT, that's 9:15 U.S. Eastern Time, for a special look back at business news in 2013 with our special from London and New York. I'll join Arise Global Business Editor Michael Wilson. Then watch Arise News throughout the day for New Year's coverage. We'll be back on Thursday. Let's take a look at the final markets for the day. Light day of trading. The Dow up just a little bit. S&P 500, NASDAQ down just slightly. We'll see you on Thursday. I'm Andrew Schmertz. Happy New Year's, everyone.